Hello everyone. So today I wanted to pop on and have a little chat with you and maybe give you some ideas and tips about how to move forward in your life. So we all reach stages where we feel a bit stuck, when we feel we need to level up a bit, but we just don't know how to move forward for something. Sometimes it's due with things that have gone on in our life, and we don't have a strong sense of belief about ourselves and that we are capable of doing it. Sometimes we just feel that, it might be too difficult. It might be too triggering. It might be connected to something that happened in your past where you just don't feel like you're good enough and that you're worthy of having something better in your life. So if we just take a little step back and just to see where you are at the moment. So you could take out a pen and paper and just draw a little diagram or make some notes, whatever you choose to do, just to see what parts of your life you think that are not really where you want them to be. So you could draw a little circle and divide it into four, and you could put in there relationships, career, spiritual life, and finances. Now, I'm sure out of all of those, there's probably one, if not more, areas that you feel are not really working for you or not where you want to be at this moment in time. So, to be able to step forward into creating a better life for yourself, you really have to embody the energy of being that person. So, if you just do the same thing every day that you've always done, then it really isn't going to change. So the idea is then you have to become the person that you want to be and start making those changes so you fully embody it and you can step into it. So if you just pause this for a second and just write down what areas of your life you feel a bit stuck in, then you can go into them one at a time and dissect them just to see where it is that you're lacking. So let's go, for instance, with finances, just for argument's sake. So we look at our finances. How much debt have you got? How much do you spend? And what do you spend it on? So there is a saying, if you want to know what you value and what you prioritize in your life, have a look at your bank statement. So that will tell you where all your money's going. Is it on Amazon? Are you buying just stuff because you're scrolling through? Are you on clothes stores? Are you just spending it on shopping? Items that you don't actually need that you feel that just might make you feel better when you feel a little bit down. So you need to really analyze what's going on here and why do you feel that you need to sometimes go in and buy something just to make yourself feel better. What place are you coming from? Now, is it because, there's something that's happened to you, maybe a trauma that happened to you in your childhood, or maybe there was a not very good connection between you and your parents, say, or somebody you close. Sometimes it can be a partner. Maybe you were married to somebody that really didn't value you and put you down all the time, that was maybe abusive. So we all have things that have gone in our life that we have to deal with on occasions and have to look at. So and it's just about how did you deal with those situations, really? Is this where it stems from? So in my work, I have to go right back to the beginning to try and find out what the problem is, where does it come from? And a lot of the times it does stem back to childhood, usually the beginning between naught and age 7. As you probably know, most of us are programmed by then. We're programmed by our parents, our grandparents, the school system. If you think of little babies, they just make enormous leaps and bounds from the age of being born, say, up until the age 7 or even 5. They can do amazing things. They're just floppy. They come out, they can't really do anything. They can't sit up. Sometimes they can't open their eyes. Um, they can't move their upper body like to get themselves into a position. And you think that as time goes on, they learn how to do this. They They learn the strength in their body to be able to stand up, to walk. They take amazing quantum leaps, children, from a very early age. And then it sort of slows down a little bit. So it all depends on the caregivers that you have at that time and that stage in your life, really, towards your development. And unfortunately, some people didn't have that proper care and love and attention that they needed when they were younger. Also, there could have been abuse of some sort from somebody they knew, could have been a family member, somebody that came into the family, like a stepdad, stepmom, that type of thing. And this can also cause people to really undervalue their worth and think to themselves that they're just not worthy of anything and they just never going to achieve much. They're never going to get past it. And they've just buried some of these feelings and emotions and not work through them. So therefore they're lurking there in the background somewhere until there is usually a major crisis that happens and they're forced to, you know, revisit and then start to do the work to heal that side of them. But some people, you know, they just bury it and they never do the work on it. They never go back and they never want to revisit. It's too traumatizing for them. It can get triggered quite easily. And there is a saying, you know, especially around parents, we all do the best we know how to do at the time. And it's only really those, probably now in our generation, that are working through a lot of the traumas and things that have happened to us because it was never spoken about before. People never had the means to be able to like go to therapists or do healing on themselves. It just wasn't a thing, you know, it wasn't discussed. And there weren't people like myself that could do that type of thing either. So, you know, and that also does get passed down in the genes as well. So you've got generational stuff that goes on there. So it's many aspects of where you could be, where you are at this present time. So most people come to me because they do want to move forward. Their life has come to a standstill. They just can feel completely stuck. So they don't know what to do. So firstly, you have to go and look at where you think it stemmed from. You don't have to revisit it and think about every little detail. You can be with it and walk through it without actually being in it. So you just take yourself out of these scenarios as best you can and just try and work your way through them one at a time. So I have to go in and work, you know, through like the child wounds, inner child work, mother wound, father wound, generational clearing. Sometimes it can just be timeline stuff that needs sorting out. Sometimes it becomes contracts, soul contracts, the people in our lives that we've just incarnated in every time. We never learnt the lesson. It just became too overwhelming. And sometimes you just have to keep coming back. You go, yeah, I'll do that again next time I'm here. So, you know, yeah, I'll sign up for that one as well. But then you get here in the 3D world and it's just too much because when we make the decisions over that side, we're not really thinking from a place of emotion. We're thinking from a place of, yes, I need to learn that lesson. I'm going to master it next time, but ticking all the boxes and then getting down here and doing it are two different things. And sometimes you make these contracts with other people and they're going to come in and they're going to be your biggest enemy or they're going to be your bestest friend, whatever the case may be, but you would have signed up for that and so would have they. But sometimes you just can't get past the lessons that are there. And I've had people that I've worked with that have had to do the same thing or been doing the same thing for 7 lifetimes until finally we decide, right, enough is enough of it. We need to change that contract now. It really isn't working. It's very detrimental to them in this lifetime and they can't follow through on that lesson or whatever it is to make amends with that person. They can do the forgiveness. Everyone can do the forgiveness from a distance for their own benefit. They may not want to say they forgive the person that may cause them harm, but that's totally up to them as freedom of choice. But you can then also go up into the Akashics and change your contracts if you want to. You can tear them up or you can change them. You can ask for a different outcome. You can really still love the person that caused you some pain maybe in this lifetime and think, I don't ever want to cut them out and never reincarnate with them again. So you can go in and change it slightly and just say, right, well, this dynamics is not working. In the next life, I want this to be a very happy, a pleasant, a loving relationship, etc. I don't want to cut them out. But some people do say, right, I'm cutting them out of my life. I never want to be incarnated with them again. And I want that sort of known. So I don't make the same mistake again of trying to clear stuff that doesn't seem to be working. But anyway, it's coming back to fundamentally like why you may have trouble around finances. I know a lot of spiritual people have trouble charging for the work that they do. And usually that's because they would have been reincarnated many times as a light worker. All those lifetimes they probably were victimized throughout, you know the stories of the witch trials. The only people that were ever valued in doing this type of work were in the tribes. There was always the wise man, the wise woman, the medicine man, medicine woman, that people used to go to, and they were like very important people in that tribe. Throughout most of the other times, they have been persecuted and not a nice ending, shall we say. So that would be sitting there. So when you get here now in this lifetime and you decide that you want to do the work, there's always a fear of being seen, a fear of being persecuted, and a fear of not being enough. So that's another subject that I go into, is like clearing the persecution wound, or some call it the witch wound, whichever resonates with you. So you'll be able to charge. So if you're self-employed and you're one of those circles, which we are focusing on was finances, why do you think you cannot charge? The myth that it's a gift and you shouldn't charge for it, I don't know who coined that. But the fact is that we all need to pay the rent, we all need to live, we all need to buy stuff. We live in this world, not an airy fairy world where we don't need money, we need it. So therefore you do have to charge for your services and your time. And you need to get used to asking for money. Nothing wrong with money. Money's lovely. Who doesn't like money? Who doesn't like spending it? Who doesn't like going on holidays and buying nice things? Everybody does. So there's nothing to do with the money, it's to do with your perception of money and how you feel that people are not going to want to pay you. And that's all back down to your beliefs of you not being worthy enough, or don't think that you're worth the amount that you want to charge. But I can tell you this, if you don't charge your worth, you will do stuff for people and undercharge them, and then you would end up resenting it. You will then think to yourself, right, well, I did that and I should have charged them so much more. And then the energy that you're generating and putting out there isn't really going to bring you any more work, is it? Because everything's energy and everything's frequency. So you need to list some of this stuff. You need to dig deep. You need to go in, see why your finances are not working. And if it is because you've got a lot of debt, you need to try and sort that out as well, the best you can. See how you can pay it off or write it off or whatever the case may be, and what you cannot purchase. All those coffees, for instance, or lunch dates with your mates, or whatever it is you're doing that's spending that little bit of extra money that so you can like pay it off, so you don't feel so stressed about it, so anxious about it when you tot up like what your income and outgoings are each month. You need to build a relationship with your money. You need to love it. You need to look at your statements, your bank, see where you're at. You need to know what your outgoings are, what your incomings are. You need to know what you can spend. You need to save some for luxury things like holidays and trips and things like that. You need to have all these things in place. Now, yes, this would sound quite, yeah, well, of course, we know that, but I know there's not a lot of people actually doing it. A lot of people are too scared to go and see what's going on with them, going to see what their problems are with money. And a lot of people are too scared to charge what they should be charging for their services as well. And a lot of them are light workers. A lot of them are healers, mediums, readers. Anyone that does any of this type of thing have this block about not being good enough and not feeling worthy of being able to charge what they need to charge for their work. So you need to step up really and step into your power and start owning it. Now, if you need to go back, say like I did in the beginning, to childhood and go back to see where this stems from, and then start doing the work around it. So if you want to go in and do some inner child work, you're going to look at your life between the age of 0 and 7. And if you can't remember, maybe ask somebody in the family if they can tell you anything about what you were like as a child, or what your parents were like, or if it wasn't a very pleasant childhood that you had. And you might not want to revisit it, but you can think, right, well, this happened and that happened, and of course it wasn't your fault. And you need to go in and just start regulating your nervous system, try and get rid of those feelings of like anxiousness that it may bring up when you start thinking about with the triggers, maybe that it was there. And working through your nervous system, learning how to relax your nervous system, learning to do meditation, breathing exercises, journaling, spiritual work, going for walks, exercise, eating clean. These are all lifestyle things that you have to do. Sitting in front of Netflix isn't really going to cut it. Yeah, we all love a bit of Netflix on occasion, but the TV shouldn't be the thing that rules your life, your self-care. You should be reading books on how to work with this stuff, how to educate yourself, how you can move forward, how you can expand what you want to do in your life. If it's like you want to travel, how to book you, how would you plan your trips? How much would it cost? What do you need to do to get that money in? Starting up like little groups maybe with your friends where you can discuss certain things and plan. So you're not sitting there by yourself at night or not sleeping, running all these things through your mind, causing yourself so much stress and anxiety. So if you are suffering from depression, usually that's an indication that the stuff from the past that you're not dealt with. And because you're living in that time, your nervous system, your thoughts, your feelings, what's going through your body is actually probably still stuck in the past. If you're suffering from anxiety, it's usually what's to come. It's usually what's in the future, what's tomorrow going to bring, what's later today going to bring. You're anxious of an outcome. So therefore, you need to start regulating your nervous system and just trying to calm down. We all have triggers. I still have them. Could be certain things that pop up and it triggers me, but I know how to realign myself and pull it back quickly. And these are some of the techniques and things that you will learn when you work with me, how to do this stuff, how to clear your energy field. Everything is frequency, everything. We're all connected. Everything is connected in one way or another. So, I mean, one thing I made a rule about many years ago when I started doing this work was not to watch the news. I do not really know what's going on in the world, and it doesn't really affect me either. I mean, if it's going to be something major, disaster, whatever that would affect me, I'm sure I will find it on social media. It will come up, I'll be told. But generally, what's going on the other side of the world isn't affecting me in this reality, in this what I am doing in the here and now. Can't do anything about it. So I'm not going to look at it. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to have it on my mind. It's not going to come into my sphere because the news and the media are geared up to keep you in fear, to keep you worried, to keep you suppressed, to keep you doing as you're told. Now, okay, yeah, that's changing. Yeah, we all know things are changing. But fundamentally, if you sit there watching the news channels all day, by the time you finish, that's enough to make anyone stressed and anxious. So you could instead watch things on YouTube. You could listen to some frequency music. You can do some work on yourself. You can learn something spiritual. You can go for a walk, go to the gym. And then the other thing I would say to people as well, if you have like some form of mental health problem or issue going on, is to look at your diet and maybe try and eat clean. Don't take on board so many chemicals and additives and things like that. Try and keep your food simple. Cook it yourself. And I have a big thing at the minute where when you go to any of these big supermarkets, the majority of the stuff on those shelves are not food. They're just not. Food is fruit, vegetables, meat, dairy products. It's not all these things in a packet and a box. That's not food. It's got too much added to it. So over time, all this does overload your system, and it needs clearing. It clogs up, it causes problems, it causes diabetes, all sorts of things that go on within the body that then you would need to address. But it causes mind fog. One of the biggest things that I do for my work, because I need to be clear, apart from all the exercise and meditation, all that type of stuff, is I eat clean. I don't have a lot of processed food, very rarely. Okay, so I don't smoke and I don't drink that much alcohol. So occasionally I like to socialize and be with my friends and whatever, but it's not something I do on a regular basis, because it lowers your ability to lift your energy and your frequency. It lowers everything. So, drinking a lot of alcohol or drinking alcohol to maybe sleep is not really the way to go, but you need to start doing the work. And I know a lot of people don't want to face it and don't want to dive deep in to start doing the clearing and the work and the things that they need to do, because it's not easy, is it? It's hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Everyone would pay someone like me to help them on the journey and do it. I'm usually the result of everybody trying other therapies, other methods, and they're not really working. So I do a lot of work with energy, work in the quantum field frequencies, past life stuff, generational clearing, that type of thing. But when I work on my circle or in groups, I'm always trying to start with doing like the inner child, the mother wound, father wound, going in to see what that problem is, see where these limiting beliefs stem from. So you're going to have to ask yourself some questions here. Where does it come from? Is it even yours? Sometimes it's not even yours. Sometimes it's your parents' thoughts and ideas that they've given to you and you've taken them on board. Like money doesn't grow on trees. We heard that one, haven't we? Rich people are evil or whatever the cases are. I believe none of this anyway, but I make up my own mind about where I think it's come from. But I do know that it's quite easy to take on board parents or caregivers, what their attitudes and beliefs were. So sometimes they're not even yours. Sometimes the stuff's not even yours that's sitting in your system. If you're not feeling great or you've got an illness or something's holding you back from believing in yourself. It could be because somebody told you when you were younger you were never going to do that, you're never going to achieve it. Or like my type of generation, you're just going to get married and have kids anyway. Why do you need to go to college or university? Why do you need to worry about getting a good job? That's what your role's going to be. And to be honest, that was sort of told to me. And it wasn't really on my agenda when I was younger to get married, have kids and that type of thing. But I've always been quite career minded and I always wanted to travel. And that's still, I haven't changed what I wanted back then, but obviously things get in the way and you do this other stuff. Not got anything against anybody that wants to do that stuff, but there comes a time when the kids grow up. You might want to have a hobby, or you might want to start a new business, or you might want a sideline, or you might want to get a new relationship. There could be many reasons why you feel that you need to do the inner work on yourself. So before we move on, and I keep on rambling, I want you now, if you haven't already done your circle, have a little look, pause the video, write in there why you think you are not being able to move forward in these situations. What is it that's holding you back? What you should do that you're not doing it. Okay, and what you can do. So it's small steps every day. You don't have to take great big leaps. You just take a little step every day and eventually you'll get where you need to be. But you do need to embody. If you want to be different, you have to show up different. You have to be different. Yeah, this is a good thing about doing the trauma work, is it makes you become a different person. You become different. You show up different. You are different. after the sessions, after you've done the programs. Okay, so I obviously want you to do your list, have a think about it, jump back on, and then I want to take you into a little meditation. So if you come back now and you're ready, I want you to now just put your feet firmly on the floor, close your eyes, and do a few deep breaths, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just do that a few times till you feel that your breath is regulated, that you start to feel relaxed. Lovely. Now I want you to just visualize yourself in a beautiful environment, something that feels really safe and warm and good for you. It could be the beach, it could be the forest, it could be your room that you're in now, if you really love your bedroom or your living room or whatever. Just be in that space. Just let your body relax, let your shoulders relax. Feel your whole body just relaxing, taking it all the way down. Then in your mind's eye, I want you to just visualize the person that you would like to be. What does it look like? What do you look like? Is it your appearance you want to change? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to get fit? Do you want to change your eating habits? Do you just want to feel better in yourself? Do you not want to ache? Do you want pains? You want pains to go away? Now you've just addressed what it is that you feel that it needs to change. I want you to imagine yourself now in a year's time. What do you look like now? Have you lost that weight? Yeah, do you look fitter? Are the aches and pains gone? Are you walking further? For some, it could be, can you get up out the chair and move around freely? For others, it's like, I'm off, I'm going to Australia, Bali, Hong Kong, Dubai, wherever it is you're going. Yeah, you're doing this trip of a lifetime, something you've always wanted to do, go on that cruise, but you've never had the courage, you never had the money, you never felt you looked good enough. You couldn't have possibly imagine yourself in a bikini or a swimsuit. It just wouldn't be you. Starting that business. Well, who's going to buy from me? Who's going to want my stuff? Who's going to want to work with me anyway? You know, what are the stories you've been telling yourself? Visualize yourself in a year from now. It could be that lovely car that you would want. It could be that house. It could be that extension. For some, it could just be, oh, I want a nice watch. I want a nice trip. Whatever it is. How does that feel? I mean, we fully go into it. I don't mean just pretend you're there. I mean, feel, what would you feel like if you were there? How good would that be for you to be that person? And the funny thing is you can be that person. It's all achievable. All you've got to do is step into it, make the commitment to become the person you want to be. Make the commitment to do the effort that it takes to do that. And if it's healing work, do the work, do the clearing. You can do it. And if you can remember that feeling of how good it feels to step into being the person that you want to become. I do it, I visualize it. I think about what I want to do and what I want to achieve and where I want to go. I've got my list of things that I want, the same as you have. But I make these small steps every day. I go to the gym. I go for the walk. I do the meditations. I do the clearing. I eat clean. Now I do the stuff. And if it comes to something that I want to learn, I do the training. I do it. Doesn't matter how difficult it is, because I don't believe, I have a belief in myself that I can do anything I want to. It's just there. I've achieved lots of things in my life. I'm an endless student. I've done training on many things. And I've taught myself many things as well over the years. So I know that it's possible. I know that you can do it. And I've had my own traumas throughout my life as well when I overcome them. And the thing about doing the work that I do is you become resilient. Yes, you know they're going to be difficult. You know certain things are going to take it out of you. You know that it's, you know, hard. You know it's hard. But you know that there will be light at the end of the tunnel. You know that you will come out of it the other end. And yeah, you may have to rest up for a little bit, okay, but you'll get over it. Yeah, you wish building the resilience. This is taking the first step to get yourself there, recognizing what is going on. Why are you where you are now? Why are you not where you want to be? Okay, there is a process to get where you want to be. I'm still in my process to get where I want to be, but I'm still doing it. I'm still showing up. So can you. But if you need someone to hold your hand while you do some of this work, then you need somebody like me to help you with that type of stuff, especially if it's trauma based or anxiety, whatever it is. Yeah. If you can't do it by yourself, you need some help. We all need help. As a healer, and all the work I do, I sometimes need to go and get healing. Coaches need coaches. Everybody needs someone. You can't, there's only a limit to how much stuff you can do yourself. And then you need to find somebody that's higher than you, higher frequency than you, got more energy, more knowledge, higher in their business, whatever it is. There's always someone higher, and you need to achieve that. And then you need to aim for it. And you have to do the work to get to that stage, or work with the person to get to that stage. Sitting there thinking about it and moping around and going, I wish this and wish that, and then being awake half the night because it's going round and round in your head, or feeling really anxious because now it's got to the stage where I don't know if I want to go to the shops, I don't know if I want to go out, I don't want to see people. I've even known people that go, well, I don't want to go and get my hair done, I don't want to get this done, I don't want to go there, although all I hear is what they don't want, because they've got to that stage of like just lost faith in their own ability to be able to achieve stuff. And you can, we all can. It's just overcoming what's going on. So go back to Norton 7, see what you can find out if you don't know already, and list some of that stuff, and then list it. Don't be in it, be with it. And then see what you can come up with, what it is and what you can do to change it. And if you can't change it yourself, get somebody to help you change it. Okay. Go step in to do the visualization. Some people like vision boards. Some people like journaling to get it out there so they can see it. Depends how you are. If you feel you need to do a vision board, do the vision board. But it's no good just looking at a board. You need to do the work to get there as well. It's no good just journaling it. Yeah, you might get it off your chest, but it doesn't go away, does it? It's still there, still sitting there in your psyche, in your energy field, in your body. So make a plan, make a start, write it all down. What's going on? Be really honest with yourself. Yeah, be brutal with yourself. Tell yourself the truth. Why are you doing certain behaviors that are not serving you? Why do you jeopardize your relationships? Because it's got too good for you and that's not what you're used to. Yeah, so you're gonna like do something to sabotage it. You're perfectly good on your diet and you're getting to a couple of weeks before your holiday, and then what you're gonna do, just, oh, I've got to the stage, I just have a blowout now. And then one blowout is another one and another one and another one, and then you're back halfway where you were in the beginning. And then by the time you go on holiday, come back, you're like a stone overweight. Why all this self-sabotaging? Why could it not just be normal? Why do you know normal? Like so many people I know that do all these binge eating and go and have a blowout on McDonald's and stuff like that. I mean, it's not even food. Like, why would you even eat that? Because you've been programmed to eat it, programmed that it's, cheap and like it's good for you and it's social. You can take your kids there. I don't ever recall taking mine to McDonald's. Very rarely. They must have pestered me to try and get them to go there, and I'd given in once or something, but it really wasn't a thing for me. I don't see it as food. Yeah. So it's like, what is your perception? And I'm not knocking any of these things. Anything in moderation is fine. Anything as a treat is fine. But if you're doing it every week or a couple of times a week, do you know how much sugar there is in a milkshake? Start doing the research. Have a look at what you're doing. Look at your behaviors. Uh, another can of Coke. I never drink Coke, but just saying, like, what's in it? I tell you what, I could tell you something else, right? Have a look at a loaf of bread. What's meant to be in bread? Flour, yeast, water. Maybe I'm not very good at cooking, but have a look at the ingredients. How many ingredients do you think would be in there? Three, four? How many ingredients do you need to make a loaf of bread? Now go and look at your bread. How many ingredients are in that loaf of bread? 20. Pick bread that doesn't have loads of ingredients, loads of things in it. I eat sourdough for anyone that's interested. Not got a lot of ingredients. Stay away from rapeseed oil. So you can get certain makes that don't have all that. I've only got 3 or 4 ingredients in it. Well, yes, they're not going to last a week. You can freeze it. There's ways around everything that you do. And yeah, and I know that people are going to have different dietary needs and whatever. But I mean, even so, have a look at what you're doing. Have a look at your behaviour. Do you need that glass of wine every day? And why do you need that glass of wine every day? It's because you just feel like you need to chill, you need to calm your system down. There are ways of calming your system down. Yeah, you don't need to. If it's not for that, it's just because you enjoy it and it goes nice with your dinner, that's fine. But is it self-medicating you're doing? Or is it because you just enjoy a glass of wine and it's fine? But be honest. Why are you doing it? Have a look back. Is it your just your family? Or we've always done it. That's why we do it. But does that mean you need to do it? What if it's not serving you? What if you've got chronic illness? What if you've got inflammatory diseases? Yeah, and you're having a glass of wine, or you're eating a lot of processed food, or you're eating a lot of chemicals. Don't you think that would contribute to what's going on with you? This is such a big subject. Like, well, we can go on forever talking about things like this, but I'm putting it out there for you to take a good, long, honest look at what's going on with you. Because if you want to heal yourself and you want to step up, you're going to have to start with some of these things. You're going to have to be disciplined. You're going to have to take accountability. You're going to have to make the commitment to do some stuff. People, when they come to me and they want to do my programs, they have to commit to doing it and they have to show up. Usually it's once a week. And by the time we're finished, they will say to me they feel like a different person. They're able to get on with their relationships, their life, their job, whatever it is that's been a problem for them, and sort their stuff out. So you don't need to do it alone. You can have help, but it's your choice. There's always a choice. So just what are your choices? So if anyone wants to do any more work around the inner child with me, I do have like meditations and things like that. I'm quite happy to share them with you in another video if you would like to do them. But obviously for my ladies that are here, that this recording is for, I really hope that you take something from it, that there is something here that just makes you think, I know I need to do the stuff now. I need to do the work and make the commitment to do the work. But don't leave it a long time. Don't leave it, oh, I do it next year or I do it in a couple of months' time. If you're going to do it, you need to fully own it, step into it and start doing it. Your little steps to start doing it before you need somebody like me to help you do it. You can do stuff for yourself. Just do it. Do the self-care. Give yourself permission to do the clearing and the healing work that you need. Because you really are no good to anybody else if you don't do the work on yourself. And if you don't do the generational clearing as well, you're passing it on. It will come out somewhere else. It might be your daughter or your granddaughter. or it might jump and be your niece. It comes out somewhere else. So where you think that you might be hiding stuff and putting it under the carpet and no one needs to know, it always comes out. Someone somewhere is going to end up having to do the work. So if not for you, do it for somebody else. But just do it, okay? I'm here to help if you want me to. So I'd be really interested if some of you want to message me privately and let me know how you get on with that. And is there anything resonates with you? And if there's anything else you want me to help you with as we go through some of these lessons. Okay, so good luck everyone, and thank you for joining me on this journey of healing and self-discovery. And I'll be back soon to talk to you again about some of the other things that we can do together. So bye for now.